How do you get started in real estate if you don't have any money and your credit is poor? In this video, I will break down 5 viable strategies for getting your feet wet in real estate investing, even if you're starting from zero. Coming up. Hey guys, if we're just meeting, my name is Vitaly Volpov. I'm a real estate investor, attorney, and a part owner of a real estate brokerage in upstate New York. I currently own over 100 rental units, and my goal is to help 1,000 other like-minded people reach financial independence through real estate investing. Please like, follow, and subscribe if you find this video helpful. Let's get right into it. The first way to get started in real estate with little to no money is by getting your real estate license. Now, yes, I know there's an ongoing debate among real estate investors whether getting a real estate license does more harm than good. I can definitely agree that it can be detrimental if you go about it the same way that most other people do. Speaking as someone who owns a real estate brokerage and who has interviewed and worked with dozens of agents over the years, and currently having over 30 agents on our team, I can definitely say that only a small percentage of real estate agents and real estate brokers have what we would call the investor mindset. Most real estate brokers operate inside a very confined box. Most focus on single-family housing for owner-occupied clients. Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and there's definitely money to be made and a career to be had as a real estate agent and broker representing home buyers. And if this is the type of brokerage you would be joining and the type of work you would be doing, then I completely agree that you should not get your real estate license if your ultimate goal is to learn how to become a successful real estate investor and build wealth and passive income. I would only recommend getting your real estate license if you're going to work for a brokerage that at minimum has a substantial pool of real estate investor clients, and preferably someone who works exclusively with real estate investors. It's also very important that agents and brokers who work in that brokerage also invest in real estate themselves. These types of brokers and brokerages are in the minority, but they definitely exist. What I would recommend is that you search around your local area and make connections with agents and brokers who work at a brokerage like that. Find out more about whether they are hiring and what working for them may be like. Most of the time, if you reach out to them and offer to take them out to lunch or buy them a cup of coffee to talk about their business and make a meaningful connection, they would be more than happy to do so. Only once you find some potential brokerages that may be the right fit would I suggest you go out and start working on getting your real estate license. In most cases, this will require a little bit of an investment on your part. So this is not a completely no money down starting point, but it's usually not very expensive. Most states require you to take a licensing course followed by a licensing exam and then require you to take and pass the state exam. Each of these steps will require a little bit of money, but it's usually not too expensive. For example, in New York, you can take an online course for just $99, and the state application fee is just another $65. Once you get your license and start working with an investor-minded broker, you will have a front row seat to how experienced real estate investors do business. If you're in the right environment and have the opportunity to shadow and pick the brains of the agents and investors around you while also making some commission income, I really think that there is no better and safer way to get started in real estate. If you're in the Albany, New York area and have an interest in pursuing your real estate license while learning how to become a real estate investor, consider my brokerage called Serenity Real Estate Team. You can find my contact information in my bio or in the description of this video if you're watching on YouTube. Send me an email or a DM and let's talk and see if it may be the right fit for you. The second way is similar to the first, although it may require a little bit more effort and time on your part. And that is to find a successful local real estate investor or investment company and offer to work for them for free. Now, this may sound a little extreme, as you will likely still need to work somewhere else in order to pay your bills, but it can be a great way to get your foot in the door. Finding the investor or company may seem a little tricky at first, as you usually won't see them advertising their services in the same way that an investor-friendly broker might. But if you find and join some local real estate investing groups, you should be able to quickly make some connections in the industry. The idea with this method is to offer as much value as possible to the investor so that they would be willing to give you the opportunity to learn and shadow them in their day-to-day business. As someone who doesn't have experience, knowledge, or financial resources to offer them, you will need to offer them other things such as your time, energy, and willingness to perform tasks in their business that they may otherwise not be willing to do themselves. Some examples of these might be taking photos of their apartments for rent or properties for sale, serving tenant notices, or offering to perform some manual labor. If you can build a relationship of trust and one that is is built on offering more value to the investor than what you might be taking away from them, it should result in the investor being willing to reciprocate by helping you in return. The relationship you build can easily go from shadowing and advice to access to deal opportunities, private lending opportunities, and even partnerships. How successful you are with this method will depend on your persistence, competence, and tenacity. But this is definitely something that can be done and will not cost you anything other than your time and energy. Method number 3 involves partnering with another person and investing in real estate together. Partnerships can come in many different forms. Usually, the best partnerships are those that are well balanced, where both individuals are bringing skills and traits that complement the other person. You generally don't want to have two partners that bring the same things to the table. For example, if both partners know construction, but neither one of them knows how to manage money or negotiate deals or get financing, that partnership is not likely to be successful. By the same token, if both partners know how to prepare a tax return, but neither has the skills necessary to manage people, that partnership will likely fail as well. If you're in a situation where you don't have money or credit to get started, but hopefully you've devoted a lot of time to reading books on real estate investing, listening to podcasts, and watching videos like this, you need a partner who has the things that you lack right now. So a good partner for you might be someone who doesn't have the knowledge that you have and doesn't have the time to devote to real estate that you do, but has the money and good financial standing to help you get financing for your deals. How can you find a partner like that? There really isn't a magic formula for this. You won't be able to find a potential partner like this by searching for them on Google. The best way to go about this is to speak about real estate investing with anyone and everyone who's in your circle, and then go outside of your circle and do the same. You should join meetup groups and go to as many real estate investing events and social gatherings as you can and just talk to people. Try to meet people who are farther along financially than you are. Be genuine with them when you talk about real estate and your goals and plans, and see if you can find someone whose interests align with yours. Obviously, trust and familiarity take time to develop, so your goal should always be to form meaningful relationships with people. You should not treat these interactions as just a means to an end simply to help you get to where you're trying to go. You should want to help the other person reach their financial goals as well. A partnership will only be successful as long as both of your interests and goals align. Method number 4 that can allow you to get into real estate investing with little to no money and no credit is by becoming a real estate wholesaler. This is also a somewhat controversial path with a lot of real estate investors. A lot of wholesalers are disliked by a substantial segment of the real estate industry. Specifically, realtors generally have viewed wholesalers in a negative light. This is because they often perceive wholesalers as those who interfere with the work of realtors, do so unscrupulously, and earn commissions without being licensed or subject to any ethical requirements. For those of you who are not familiar, a wholesaler is someone who approaches an owner of a property and makes an offer to purchase that property from that owner for a certain price. Once the wholesaler and the owner come to terms on the price and sign an agreement, the wholesaler then goes on to another investor and sells to that investor the opportunity to buy the property from the seller on the terms that the wholesaler and the seller agreed on. In exchange for this opportunity, the wholesaler charges the investor a fee, which is called a wholesaling fee or an assignment fee. Assignment fees can be quite lucrative, and depending on the specific deal and market, can be as small as a few $1,000s to as large as tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Most of the time when the wholesaler is negotiating a deal with the seller has no idea that the wholesaler does not intend to actually buy the property, or that the wholesaler is profiting from being the middleman in the transaction. So some people feel that there's a pretty strong element of dishonesty involved with being a wholesaler, and therefore wholesaling is seen by some as a dirty business. On the other hand, other people, myself included, believe that wholesaling can and does serve an important function in the real estate market. First, most of the time, the properties that wholesalers work with are not the kinds of properties which most real estate agents or average buyers would be particularly excited to get involved with. These properties are often distressed, in disrepair, and cannot be purchased by using conventional bank financing. Owners of these properties may have tried and failed to sell them using realtors, or perhaps they do not want to use realtors because they do not want to pay a commission. Wholesalers usually offer to buy the property from the owner for cash in as-is condition, waiving any kind of inspections or appraisal contingencies. They also usually offer to buy the properties regardless of whether there are tenants who are behind on rent or if there are building code violations or tax liens. These types of offers do provide a substantial value to owners who cannot afford to continue to maintain the properties and who may otherwise lose those properties to mortgage or tax foreclosure. On the flip side, wholesalers also bring value to investors who may be flippers or buy and hold rental property owners. This is because although these investors may want to find distressed properties like these, they do not have the time or the resources to do so. Wholesalers help to fill that role for the investors and thus bring them tremendous value. Currently, many states and local governments, often at the behest of the real real estate broker lobby are beginning to require wholesalers to obtain real estate licenses in order to be able to wholesale. This has not yet happened in my home state of New York, but it may not be long before it does. For now, in most states, wholesaling is still a viable way for individuals who do not have a lot of money to make a living through real estate. One thing that I would caution you if you are interested in getting into wholesaling is that you really need to put in some serious time and effort, not only into learning how to wholesale legally and ethically, but also learning your local market and the values and costs of real estate in that market. Too many people get into wholesaling without having any clue what properties are worth in their area, what construction costs are, or what construction needs to be done on a particular deal. They get properties under contract with equally clueless sellers, and then they're surprised when they can't find buyers to buy these properties at a price that allows them to make a profit. Please don't be this person. Learn from experienced wholesalers and experienced real estate investors first, and only then go out and try to do this on your own. The last method number 5, is to buy real estate using creative financing, where you do not have to put any of your own money into the deal. This may sound daunting to you if you're only familiar with bank financing, but there are actually several different ways you can accomplish this. Now, I'm not going to get into a lot of the details on the different ways you can do this. If you're watching this on YouTube, I will put some links in the description below to other videos that I've done in the past on this topic. And if you're watching this on any other platform, you can go to my YouTube channel and find them there. One of the ways that I will mention is to have a private lender finance the deal 100%. This is probably going to be pretty difficult to do if you've never bought a property before, have no track record, and don't have good credit, unless you have a rich uncle who believes in you unconditionally, but it can be done. Another perhaps more realistic way, though still pretty challenging, is to get the seller of the property to seller finance the purchase for you. What does this mean exactly? Let's say a seller wants $100,000 for a property. Instead of you going to a third-party lender and asking them to finance the purchase of this property for you, you will ask the seller to be the lender. At the closing, you get the property, and the seller gets your promise to pay him or her monthly for a set period of time until the entire purchase price is paid to the seller, together with any interest. Doing this may be advantageous to the seller if they would otherwise owe a lot of money in income taxes if they were to sell the property for a lump sum today. Instead, they may be willing to spread their profit over many years and thereby reduce their tax liability, as well as earn interest in the process. Seller financing works best if the seller doesn't have a mortgage on the property. If they have a mortgage, they will likely be legally restricted from doing a seller finance deal. However, there are ways that some investors get around this by utilizing strategies such as Subject to, which involves taking over the mortgage payments for the seller. There are also other strategies out there, such as rental arbitrage, where you don't even take ownership of the property, but instead become a renter who's able to sublease the property to other renters and make a profit on the difference between the rent that you pay to the owner and the rent that your tenants pay to you. Again, I can't get into too much detail on all of these different strategies in this video, as this video is already long enough, but just know that there are other ways that investors who don't have a lot of money have been able to get started in real estate investing using creative financing. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you're interested in learning more about different ways to finance real estate and creative real estate investing strategies, check out my videos on those topics on my YouTube channel, which I'll link down below. If you enjoyed this video and found it valuable, please leave a like. And if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to my channel and follow for more content like this. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.